Love 'em or hate 'em, Six Flags dominates the North American coaster industry with 17 parks found throughout the region with another one down in Mexico. With 18 parks worldwide, Six Flags is the largest and one of the most well-known amusement chains out there. With that said, they're not perfect. Even though they have the quantity of parks, they live in the shadow of other chains like Cedar Fair and SeaWorld. Six Flags is referenced as the bargain chain. They sell discounted passes, which is good when you're paying a lot for places like Busch Gardens, but at least at SeaWorld you're paying for quality. Easily put, Six Flags is cheap and not really worth the money. The parks aren't maintained all that well, they're stacked with cookie cutter rides and clones, and the food is absolute bottom when it comes to theme parks. With that said, there are some good things about it. They have RMC, El Toro, X2, Superman the Ride, some good B&Ms and Premier coasters, and a couple of their parks have animals. This is all good, but things could have seriously taken a turn for the worse in 2009. 2009 marked Six Flags bankruptcy. In order to stay in business, they needed to sacrifice some parks. Some international parks went their own ways, while parks like Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, Geauga Lake, and Astro World closed around that time or sooner to prepare for the financial struggles. Recently, we've seen the stocks drop and Six Flags fall back into their financial issues. So today, we see what could happen if Six Flags goes out of business. If you're new around here, click that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any future what if videos. Also, today's shout out goes to Indie Coaster Creator. If you want to get featured in my next video, then just comment something down below. If I like it, then I'll be sure to put you in my next video. And of course, this is just one of many outcomes that could happen if Six Flags goes out of business. I'd love to hear your version in the comments down below. Enjoy. It's 2022 and Six Flags is struggling to stay alive. The COVID outbreak several years ago hurt the business and pushed them over the edge. This time is much different than before. They can't just give up some of their parks. 2021 was their final year of operation. All in all, the 2021 season wasn't too bad. Each park got a new attraction because they were all paid for in advance. However, all of the lost revenue from the 2020 season caused a struggle, making them file for bankruptcy once again. In hopes to make a quick buck, they looked to sell off some of their parks. If a chain is going to purchase Six Flags, they wouldn't have enough to buy each and every park, so they would need to choose which ones they want wisely. The first to bid is SeaWorld. SeaWorld was coming off a great 2021 season, investing $65 million into their parks. Busch Gardens Williamsburg got an Intamin shuttle coaster, Busch Gardens Tampa got a new S&S Scream and Swing, SeaWorld Orlando got the first B&M surf coaster, SeaWorld San Antonio got a Skyline Horizon, and SeaWorld San Diego got a mock launch coaster. A big expansion for each of their parks once again. SeaWorld is smart when it comes to buying new properties. Not wanting to spend too much, they choose only several parks that would benefit most. SeaWorld would acquire Six Flags Magic Mountain due to its close proximity to Los Angeles. They would also go for Six Flags Fiesta Texas, so they wouldn't have to risk a competitor to their San Antonio park. Six Flags has full faith in SeaWorld that they can manage their animals, so they also acquire Great Adventure and Discovery Kingdom. It took a couple years for the whole rebrand to take place because they weren't allowed the DC superhero theme anymore, so each and every DC ride had to get rethemed. Luckily, it wasn't too hard because each park would get its own specific theme. Magic Mountain would get renamed to SeaWorld Los Angeles. There would be several animal encounters, but a big focus on animal-themed rides over animal encounters. Six Flags Fiesta Texas would be renamed to SeaWorld San Antonio Resort. Both the San Antonio parks would get a shuttle system provided between the parks and a hotel to make it one of Texas's best destination spots. Six Flags Great Adventure would get rethemed to Busch Gardens Jackson. Yes, I know using the Busch Gardens name is unlikely, but it fits a lot better for Great Adventure. Busch Gardens Jackson would come with a worldwide theme, revamp Kaz area to make it Asian, revamp Toro's area to make it Mexican, and throw in a couple more lands like Brazil, Spain, Ireland, and of course Africa for the animals. Discovery Kingdom would get renamed to SeaWorld San Francisco. This park would be much more on the lighter side and not get as much attention, but still expect some great rides. By the time SeaWorld is able to open, a lot of other chains have managed to come back from the 2020 season. The next chain to throw in a bid is Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair makes an agreement with Palace Entertainment that Cedar Fair would get the rest of the parks except for Great Escape and La Ronde. This strengthens Cedar Fair beyond belief. They become the largest amusement chain in the world, and with all of the profit they're making, they're able to add a good attraction at each of their parks and focus a little more on theming. All the parks would keep the same name, but drop the Six Flags title. They might need to get a little creative with parks like New England, but in this case, New England would be renamed to Riverside. Just like SeaWorld, Cedar Fair doesn't have access to the DC hero theme, so instead, each park would get its own themed lands. Kind of like how Carowinds made Blue Ridge Junction with Copperhead Strike. These lands are nothing special, but a great step forward in guest satisfaction and appearance. Cedar Fair would also continue to remove old dated rides with low ridership. And who knows, a purchase like this could have Cedar Fair and Intamin start working together again. And last but surely not least, of course, we'll finally get to see some more B&Ms, MOCs, and GCIs make a return to Six Flags. As for the two parks, Great Escape and La Ronde, those would get run by Palace Entertainment. Palace isn't the largest chain out there. Their biggest park is Kennywood, but they do add some thrilling rides every once in a while. The addition of these parks will strengthen their economic growth, and we'll be able to see some more additions on a regular basis. The big draw that made Palace want these parks were the size and location. Great Escape is small and didn't have too large of a price tag, and La Ronde would get their name international. The current Palace parks are found in the northeast of the US, so a purchase like this would fit great with the other parks in the area. Well, that's what might happen if Six Flags goes out of business. Do you agree or disagree? And just out of curiosity, if this does happen, is it worth Six Flags going out of business, or do you think they're good the way they are? Vote at the top of the screen. If you haven't already checked out our brand new merchandise shop, be sure to click that top link in the description down below. Any purchase helps out the channel. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more just like it, click this playlist right here. If you want to subscribe to my channel, click my logo right here. I'm Zach from Theme Park Media signing off, and I will catch you in the next one.